Hello yet again. This is Moroni Prime with another video review. This time I figured I'd try something a little different and go on a larger scale. This time I will be reviewing, as you can see, Generation 1 Omega Supreme. This here is the vintage piece from 1985. It is, let's see, about 27, almost 28 years old now, based upon a mold already used in Japan for a different series. It was known as Omegatron, not Megatron, but Omegatron, as well as, well, there was another name, but I can't recall the other name. But this is the Transformers edition, released in 1985 as part of Series 2. This was the Autobot's last line of defense, as it was known as. It is made up of several components. You have the launching station here with the track orbiting around it. You have the shuttle, and you have the tank module. The tank being the main component. It is electronic, as you saw in the beginning of the video. When it is activated, the wheels will turn, and it will travel along any flat surface or on the track here. So just demonstrate, just let it go. The head pivots, the turret raises up and down as if it were firing, and the canopy here, or visor, lights up. As you see there. I don't know how well you could see it, but being this is a larger figure, I had to kind of zoom the camera out a little bit. But hopefully you guys can see this alright. In this mode there is no articulation aside from the head turning, but otherwise that's about it. For the shuttle component, it's just the solid shuttle. I mean, the claw here can open up wider, or you can close it entirely, and it looks kind of like the flame jetting out of the bottom of the rocket. But no, that's about it as far as articulation. I'll cover how to assemble this into the base mode here toward the end, but right now let's get started on the robot mode. First off, you want to take the shuttle section and just pull it in half. This will become your two forearms for Omega Supreme. Set those aside for now. I'll warn you ahead of time, folks, this is very much a parts former. There are over 15 pieces to this figure, separate pieces, some of which are easily lost, most notably the yellow clips. Next we'll take the launching station. Just place your hand on the bottom here and pull the entire upper section up and off. This will become the backpack, as it's called commonly. There is a clip back here. I don't know how well you can see that. That is broken off very easily, this little tab here. So be extremely careful. Just pull down, doesn't require much force at all, and then you can open up the backpack. We shall leave this as such and set it off to the side as well. Next we have the two lower sections of the launching platform that will just move out of the way here. On these you'll see the yellow sections. These are actually 4 out of the 6 clips. These are the pieces I was referring to that are easily lost. Most notably the smallest clips. These are the larger 4. Take the larger 2, set those to the side. These medium ones, you'll slide them out and off. We'll set those to the side. These are now the feet. Set those off to the side as well. This leaves us with the track. Okay, huge, giant plastic oval. Where to start? Let's start over here. Just on the side tracks, the white sections, lift, push down on those and lift the gray sections up and off. That will free up, and you'll be able to divide this into the separate components. Now the gray section. Let's move these out of the way real quick. On the gray sections, you have these consisting of 4 pieces. The outer 2 just pull out Those will become sections of the outer shins. Then underneath here, unless it falls off, which it did, I apologize, just one moment. This is one of the other yellow clips. There's a kind of a T-shaped piece here between the two halves, and the yellow clip holds that in place to keep the two halves together. So this simply just slides out and off. Set that aside by the other clips. Then this here is kind of a, it looks like a set of teeth or something. These little ridges here, this just slides up either direction, up, down, either way. Whatever you do, don't just pull it out like that because you will probably break it. So those are two outer leg armors now. We'll set those to the side. Do the same thing with this other section as we discussed just a moment ago. Take those off, set those aside. Yellow clip, which didn't fall off this time, pulls off, and these two come apart. That's your leg armor. Then you have your track halves of the white segments. These are, I don't know how well you can see this. The ridges there, it's similar to the gray pieces what I just spoke of. The sides here lift up and off of the center section, like so. Now, there's one thing I did neglect to mention, and that is the letters. There are several letters printed on one on each of the track pieces. The center sections that have the dual little peg holes there, those are track I. You can't really tell really at all, but it's like right in there. Try to get the light, but I doubt it'll show up. Those are both section I. There are two section I's. We'll set those off out of the way. That's the only piece I believe that shares the letter between two different pieces because they are the same mold. These pieces here, these are pieces L and M respectively. Then of course you have pieces J and K, which do not have the little dual peg hole sections. Also, pieces that have letters, you have ones here, which are E, F, G, and H. They're found more down toward the tip there. You probably can't see diddly squat from my hand in the way, but you have those. Try to keep those out of the way as best I can. A and B, which are the closed bottom leg armors. You'll see the difference here in a minute. Well, maybe, yeah, that's what I was talking about. I'm sorry, I was looking at it upside down. These, B and D, are the closed bottom, or closed top rather, leg armors down here. Because these have a little peg on there that fits on the hips of the Omega Supreme tank when it goes into robot mode. We'll discuss that here in a minute. Pardon me. These are the open-ended ones. These will fit along the lower torso section, that's what I'm calling it, to keep this family friendly. But it allows for the lower torso to exist and have plenty of room, adequate enough to move. Now on to transformation, now that we've got all the pieces disassembled and identified. Take your Omega Supreme tank, such as it is. First you'll take the, looks like the blasters, I guess is that the word, I guess that's supposed to be blasters. I don't know, I can't really think of a better thing that they're supposed to be other than just, I don't know, pointy things. At any rate, take those and angle those downward 90 degrees. And then you'll take the light sections and slide them down and out. Those will become your upper arms. Just put those straight out like that, and that'll get them out of the way for the moment. Next is the tank treads. These are artificial treads. They don't actually move around like a real tank. They're just molded to tail. as the tank actually moves on these wheels down here. These two in particular are the ones that really drive the thing. The others are just for support and balance. But these here are encased in a little rubber band, a ridged rubber band to help it get traction and friction on the track or on most other surfaces. So you take the tank treads and you pull them out. You'll hear a click. That's because there's a little clip in the side. Please use extra care when you're pulling these out. Don't pull any farther than the point where you hear that click. Because inside here are the little motorized leg drums. And they move, they revolve around one another in that, I don't know if you can see really how my fingers are going, kind of that way around each other in a clockwise motion. And that's what powers the ability to walk in the robot mode. Those are notorious for breaking. This Omega Supreme has actually been repaired using reproduction leg drums by Darkoff of TFW2005.com. Props to him. Very, very high quality product, and it has resurrected the Omega Supreme here greatly in its ability to walk. So right now we're done with this component, so we will set this aside for the moment. First thing we'll want to do is get everything ready for the legs. So we will take our feet first. These are identical, there's no letters on them, so they're pretty much interchangeable. We'll get our shin halves. We have F and H. These will be the, let's see, looks like the outer shins. And then we have G and E, which have the larger hole. I think those would go on the inside of the tank tread, so those would be the inner shins, like so. Okay, so let's take the tank component here. Let's take piece G and put it to the inner part of the left leg, because as you can see it's kind of molded at an angle, so it's meant to fit the tank tread perfectly. Slides in there, just kind of sits for a second until you get the other one, which is, I believe, part H. And utilizing the clip here, it should lock right into place. There we go. Do the same with the other leg. Part E on the right leg, part F on the outer part of the right leg. Clips into place, and then now you can attach the feet. Just as so. The clips here will slide down in these little angled holes there at the bottom. And now Omega Supreme is capable of standing up. Well, I need to move the camera, don't I? That's alright, I'll make do. Right, so we have a halfway looking robot now. Now let's move on to the leg armor. Because you notice he's standing at kind of a tilt. That is due to the walking capabilities. And the leg armor is actually essential for him to be able to stand up evenly. So, figure out what piece is which here. Alright. Okay, first thing we will do the right leg. So we take section A, that's the inner part of the right leg. Slide it up in between. You see the little, I don't really see it all that well, the little ridges right in there. Those will hook onto those tabs here. Probably can't see diddly squat for that, but if you actually have the figure, you'll see exactly what I'm referring to. You slide it up, and then you slide it out toward the side, and that'll kind of, if I can get it in there, catch the tab just as so. There, and it'll sit in place long enough for you to be able to get section C, which is the wrong piece altogether. Let's try that again. How about section B? Yeah, I think that's a good alternative. Section B, which is the outer section of the right leg. See, as I referred to earlier, the tab here will go into this slot in the hip there. You can't really probably see it, but it just closes as such. This is where the little yellow clips become essential for the figure, which is the main reason why they are so expensive. They are required for the structural integrity of pretty much the entire robot. and its ability to stand at all and not look weird. Because back here you have a point for the small clip, a point for the medium clip, and then on the front a point. It's like 2 points actually, but that's for the one large clip. We take one of the small clips, which is the ones that were holding the track pieces together, the track halves. Take that and it'll slide, kind of like an arrow pointing down, slide down into place. It doesn't click or anything necessarily, so don't force it because you don't want to break it. Medium clip, that's one of the ones that was on top of the foot or the launching pad, as it were, launching mechanism, whatever. It too slides down, just as an arrow pointing down, like so. And on the front, you take one of the large clips. This figure's actually been a little bit customized because I threw some repro labels on it. This is one of the custom sets from repro labels, courtesy of Captured Prey and reprolabels.com. I got it at Slagacon. So yeah, shout out to all three of those. One of the Elite Guard or something. Anyway, it'll slide down over both of these and lock into place as such. That's one leg down. Notice the foot is not actually contacting the ground anymore, the table, because the weight is actually mainly on the shin guards, and when the foot goes down all the way, it actually lifts it up and over those so that he can actually take a step and walk. But the leg armor is what mainly supports the weight. So yeah, this review is like 17 minutes long, so let's speed this thing up a little bit. We're going to take section D and section C. It is C for sure this time. I'm positive on that one. We'll do the same thing as we did before. Put it in, slide it out to kind of lock it in place. The other one on here, get the tab into the hip. Slide on the small tab, or clip, medium clip, and the large clip. Alright. Now he's looking a little bit better. Let's get the arms going here. Let's pivot this at the elbows. That's probably the most prudent choice at the moment. These arms, the two halves of the rockets, are pretty well interchangeable as to whether you want one on the right or one on the left. Again, another repro label. Courtesy of the same three vendors. That one actually is the Elite Guard symbol, so yeah, awesome. Notice these little black tabs and little black buttons here. I don't know how well you can see that. Might show up better on this one. Those are actually buttons you needed to press in order to be able to remove them from the arms. So keep that in mind, don't just pull it and break it. But one will actually go, you know what, I'll put this on the right arm. It'll actually go here. Doesn't necessarily make a click sound, but it will kind of hold the thing in place. We'll see that one click. That's kind of weird. I guess that clicks too. I don't know. At any rate, you can pivot the arms like so. You can open the claw all the way. You can keep the claw closed. It's really up to you. Now, I'm sure you probably noticed I haven't put the head up yet. There's a reason why. It's because there's the molded tabs on the back, which will actually block the backpack from being able to go on if you put the head up. So take the backpack, as seen here, remember we left it open. Take that, scoot back so you can see, it'll just slide down and rest there on its own. Then you take and you just put the head up, this whole unit just kind of clicks as it goes. There. Notice that kind of popped out when you lifted that up. That's spring loaded. Be careful. Don't break it. Also keep in mind, you know, that is possible to destroy that Autobot symbol if you're not careful from moving around a bunch. Then you can just slide this compartment up. If you slide it down, you can actually pull it on out, and there's your battery compartment. So, yeah, now you know where the batteries go. Slide that up, it kind of locks into place, completing the front of the torso. Now it's probably starting to look a little more familiar. onto the wings. Here's where the thing gets a little fun. Okay, the track pieces. So Mega Supreme are the wings. What I mean by that is the dual pegs that we referred to earlier. Well, those pegs are actually inside the backpack here, which is why we left the thing open. You probably can't see that for nothing. But yeah, any combination of the track pieces can become the wings. You can have that to be like that. You can use the most common ones. These wing pieces were actually utilized in the animated series. Like so. Let's see, the camera's kind of short. Let me move this up a bit. Ah, there we go. But those are the wings actually used in the animated series. Or, if you want to, you can use these two here. I don't know, according to the storyline, if this gives him any different abilities or advantages, disadvantages, or what have you. But my personal favorite, I like to use these and then combine all the rest of them as if they were the track. Like so. Slide this here, this here. This down here, and this down here. I think it makes them look a little more intimidating. It definitely increases the scale of the figure. But overall, it's a very solid figure. Just watch out for the leg clips; don't lose them. Again, that's why I said they're rather expensive if you do lose them, because they're easy to lose, even if they are bright yellow and easy to see. But now that the robot's complete, we can take it and flip this little switch on the back, turning the tank back on. But now that those leg drums are out, the tank treads are out, they contact with the leg drums and therefore enable the ability to then walk. Like so. Let's go ahead and open up the claw, make them looking more menacing. I know this video is like 23 minutes, but I can spend at least a few seconds watching them walk. Because you'd be surprised just how many people have an Omega Supreme and it doesn't walk anymore due to either shorter electronics, bad wiring, corroded battery contacts, or especially the busted leg drums. So having a vintage Omega Supreme that walks, even if it does have a couple of repro pieces, it's kind of a neat thing. But overall, I would rate this, as far as transformation, probably a 5 out of 10. Not that it isn't complex, because the complexity is actually very, very impressive for a figure from 1985. I mean, compared to some of the others, like, I don't know, Top Spin, Twin Twist, just some of the more basic transformations, Sideswipe or Red Alert. But the reason I give it so low a rating is because it's a parts former to the nth degree, and you have to worry about losing so many different parts or getting things in the right spot. So overall, yeah, 5 out of 10 as far as robot mode. Now, just for the sake of the speed of this review, let's go ahead and make the little rocket base mode again. You saw how it was when it was constructed, so I'll kind of rush this along. Track pieces, I'm leaving those as is for the sake of the speed. Moving things along. Let's slide this part down and put the head back down, which will allow us to take the backpack off. Okay. Push the black buttons, and the forearms will slide right off. We can then combine it into the rocket. Set that off to the side. take the arms, slide them back up, fold them back in. Tank's almost done. Now let's just take off the 6 yellow clips. Take off the outer leg armor. It's pretty neat how it still stands up on just the inner armor. I mean, this has remarkable balance for a toy this large. Take the feet off and take the shins apart. Alright, now to be able to put the tank treads back in, button right there, it's like a long tab. It just kind of presses in gently because you don't want to break the leg drum. That'll knock the little tab out of the way, and then it'll click in place. Same thing over here. There. You have your Omega Supreme tank again. Now, first thing I want to do is I'm going to put the track together. Pardon me. So I'll get the wrong piece first off. It's a great way to do it. Pieces A and B, again, go together. You get one of these small clips on that little T-shaped contraption there that's formed by the two halves. It'll just slide over it, and hopefully, unless it's a really worn piece, hold it in place securely. Then we take the piece G, clip it to B, clicks in, and piece H clicks into A, like so. There you have one half complete. Right there, and that there. Alright. Then we also take D and C, interlock them as we see earlier. Piece F goes on the other side. It clicks to section C, and E to D, like so. And the same thing with the yellow clip, the small one. Link those two halves together. Just slide it over as such. We have our track. Alright. Next order of business, we take the feet, 2 feet. You have to do this in advance. You don't want to complete the launch pad or the launching, whatever you call it, before putting it in, because it won't fit. The toes for the feet actually just fit in the little cavities left by the, well, actually the same cavities that the feet went through in robot mode. Each facing the opposite direction. Now, on the top of these yellow clips on the inside is kind of a little T shape or pie symbol shaped little section. That slides down into this little T-shaped hole, like so. You can put it on either side, it doesn't really matter. One there, pardon me, and one on the other. So you have your 2 ramps. Now on here, you probably can't see it too well, but you'll see it if you actually have the figure. There's a little tab that fits up in the same way. So you slide that on and then back toward the center, like the arrows are pointing outward. Those will add some color and some detail to the launching pad. And then the backpack, there's little rectangular holes up in the upper portions of the heels, about where the Achilles tendon would be on a human leg. Those are slots for these 2 tabs here on the sides of the backpack on the bottom. A lot of people, they tend to face the claw of the backpack toward the ramps. I like to face it away from it because I feel it kind of fills out the base a little more. You know, it makes it seem just that much more intense. Plus, it also frees up so the ramps don't get in the way of the claws for the rocket, which just sits right there. Doesn't clip in. It just rests right between the claw as if it were held in place, even though it's not. And lastly, you can just put the tank, make sure those 2 wheels and the front wheels are centered inside the track. Then you can just flip the power switch, and there it goes. As far as the base mode, yeah, that's noisy. As far as the base mode, I would say a 7 out of 10. Reason being is, yeah, it's a parts former again, just as the robot is, but there's so much more to it. I mean, you have the toy rocket, you have the little launching base here, you have the track with the tank that can orbit the track, or it can even go on, as I showed you earlier, on the same surface and just roll right along. You know, so yeah, it's actually got some decent play value. Some of the smaller cars, like well, some of the mini bots, definitely the mini spies, which are a little like a little Jeep and a little Mazda RX-7. The robots in disguise in Generation 2 spy changers and GoBots, they're all perfect scale to fit on here, so you can kind of race them around. I'm not sure. I want to say it's pretty well in scale with Hot Wheels tracks, but I don't know about their compatibility as far as being able to connect. But just sheer play value alone is just tremendous here. But I only give it 7 because you do have to assemble it and disassemble it each and every time you want to transform the thing. So it is a little tedious, but it is what it is. Honestly, the people that created this did a fine job. This mold was originally done in the 70s, and it was just reused in Hasbro's Transformers in '85. So, yeah, this is what toys were capable of almost 40 years ago. That's pretty cool to think of how far toys have come since then, especially something as iconic as the Transformers brand. So, yeah. Overall, between a 5 out of 10 and 7 out of 10, I would say ultimately a 6 out of 10. If you don't mind, pardon me, if you don't mind having to disassemble and reassemble the figure a bunch, then you know, this is the figure for you. I highly recommend it. It's a fine figure. It's very sturdy. It doesn't seem to break all that easily. I've seen many pieces, but it seems like they would be hard to break. Except for that one tab on the backpack. That seems like the most commonly busted piece I've seen. Overall, 6 out of 10. I highly recommend it. The Generation 1 is easily worth, I would say, probably anywhere from 130 to 180 loose, complete, with the clips. The Encore version, I believe, is out for, I want to say, 110 at some online stores. But I'm not sure. I don't have the Encore. So, yeah. Buy it if you like it. If you don't, don't. Once again, this has been Moroni Prime, wasting your time.